Got it.
Brews and Banter Podcast. Banter Podcast. Brews and Banter Podcast. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Brews and Banter Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I got water, I got, juice or whatever. He's like, y'all need twin legs? Matter of fact, I do.
To everybody is,
Does Delaware have an actual culture?
this is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world. Politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair.
Coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you, Yoda. I see you.
Drip water, I was selling
Somebody get warmed up.
Crash cool, so I had to recoup. Hit a dealership, said I need tools. Boot it up, then I had to reboot. Drip water, I was selling seafood.
Yo, sidebar, man. Real quick question. Who you think is a better hype man? Busta Rhymes hype man or Flavor Flav? I know Flavor Flav is the original, but who is better?
Probably Flavor Flav, right? Huh?
Nah, I'm gonna have to go with what's his name?
I don't remember his name. Swift Star. Yeah, that's his name.
Yo, only reason I can go with him is because I saw him live. Like I've never seen Flavor
So you
Flav.
biased. You biased.
Yeah.
I went to a concert, so I'll go.
Yeah, I went to a concert. He snapped. Yeah, like yo.
That's a random.
Yo, you know why?
In a vein of 50 years of hip hop, I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black
Happy Black
History
History Month. Everyone. I had a line behind.
Whoa. What's this shit up under your? What's this shit up under your name, yo?
What?
You ain't seen the opportunity. You ain't took the opportunity.
Yo, I
took the opportunity.
master of pop.
I kind of want to change mine now.
What? It's like MC, Master of Pop.
Yeah, absolutely. The MP. He the MP.
Right.
Master of
Hip
pop.
hop. I was taking it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
MP.
I mean,
like that.
I'll accept it. But
Yo,
that
you
shit
need to
look
trademark that right now. The MP, Master of Podcast. That's it. That's it.
funny.
Right
Today's
there.
MP.
It's going-
We put
Today's
it on
MP
here. We
is gonna
put
be
it on air.
Rob
So it's
Stevens.
been locked down.
It has been locked
we put it
down,
on.
but we need to trademark it before that because that's the actual lockdown. That's what it means.
Right.
Facts, yeah.
We'll
What
put
up?
that
What
in
up?
there.
Welcome to Brewing Banter Podcast, where the topic is the rockin' and the brew. We're happy to fuel. And I'm your master of podcast, Rob G. And with me, as always, the legendary Brew Crew. What's going on?
As you can see, I'm just a member of the Cruising Banner Productions. Nothing more. Yoda's not a member of anything.
I'm real to Yoda. That's it.
He stands alone.
I'll be out here doing me, dolo. All right, dolo on them.
That's not
Right.
even true.
Right.
It's not even true.
It's not true, but I mean, it feels good.
This is episode 195 of Brews and Banter Podcast. And did you miss us? We took two or 3 week off break. I mean, we'll probably go back into another break, but,
We're not going to go back into it. We'll be around. We're around.
Yeah,
Y'all hear us
we're
every
around.
week. You hear us
We're
every
around.
week.
Right.
Yeah,
We
that's
never
true.
really. Is there really a break?
True. We always out here. In
We
these
always
streets,
give the people what they need. Yes.
Yeah. But this is episode
Weekly, though.
195.
It's weekly.
And we do have some special guests with us, so we want to get into it. Like I said, it's episode 195. Almost only 5 episodes away from episode 200. So if you are in the area on March 25th, you know what to do. Check us out on the March Beer Project in Newark, Delaware, and we'll be celebrating our 200th as well as recording the 200th episode. So come through if you are available. That time, tickets are free on Eventbrite. You can just go out and check it out. And that's it. All right, we're gonna jump into this.
That's it.
That's like an MP, as an MP should.
Yeah. Without further ado, you want to bring our guest this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, whenever you're listening or watching. We have Juan and Iker, Tripping Animals. So we want to bring them to the podcast and give them a round of applause as I bring them in.
Welcome,
Round
gentlemen.
of
Thank you for coming
applause.
on. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Glad y'all could be here. Before we jump into everything, we always like to know what people are drinking on. So, without further ado, I'm a little rusty. What are we drinking on today? Juan, I don't know. Are you drinking on something?
No, I don't drink anything. I don't have anything right now in my house. Sorry,
all right.
guys.
That's all right. That's all right. How about you, Iker?
Man, I got here my gator that I take everywhere with me. It's our Ever Haze 7% hazy New England IPA, Citra Amarillo Cashmere. This is one of our core beers, and yeah, super excited to be here today. And hey, man, even better drinking a bit of beer.
Right. And for everybody who's watching, or he is not driving, he is the passenger.
Oh yeah. She's
Yes.
driving.
Thank you for clarifying.
I would like to say that I would like to say that we're in safe hands, but I'm not sure. No, we're good.
They're at least sober hands.
Exactly. I mean, this is also my first beer of the day, so I'm still sober.
Okay, good.
No,
That's always a good thing. All right. Yeah, would you like to tell us what we're drinking on today?
What we're drinking on today, of course, it's from Tripping Animals Brewing. And now,
Deal.
I love this can art, but
Yeah, the can art is really dope.
So the name of this is the name is Devault.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this is a W. What the hell? A double IPA with Citra and Citra cryo hops. We're gonna find out what the difference is between the Citra and the Citra cryo hops during this podcast, because I feel like it's all citrusy.
There it
But
is in my glass.
Like one's cold and one's not.
That's what the difference is.
I don't know. I think cryo means cold.
Yeah, it's the frozen pellets almost. Like,
one's
the frozen pellets.
one's
And this
frozen
comes in
fresh.
at a whopping 8.5
oh,
alcohol
That's,
by volume. So slow down, Rob.
yeah.
It's simple. Don't go off.
I said. I mean, people chug beers all the time at 8.5 or more.
That's
They
true. They do. But I definitely want an explanation on this can art right here. I need to find out.
Well, I think it's a theme
Yeah,
throughout
for
all their can art.
But I love it. It's dope. It's
Oh.
real dope. Like
So
even just
that's
the texture of
one
it is
of
dope. Like not
So
just the picture.
yeah, no, thank you for appreciating the work put into the label. Actually, so we have different series for our OTOs that will be our limited time offers, our special releases, and one of the series that is one of our favorite. It's a series that we use to give a shout out and show some love to the people that work in the brewery. So basically, we allow or we work together with the back of the house and front of the house employees, and we let them participate in the creation of their own beer. So in this case, Devo is actually David Lopez, who is our sales rep here for the Miami-Dade and Broward County, and Citra being his favorite hop. That's why we went with the Citra and the Cryo Citra. That Juan would be able to give more specifics on the difference on between one hop and I mean it's the same hop. It's just a different way that it was.
Uh-oh.
We lost him.
Oh, we lost. I guess that's your turn, Juan. Take over.
Go ahead, Juan. It's on you, baby.
He said Juan would explain out of here. Poof.
So yeah, as he was saying, that label was for David, our sales rep, and he was doing a lot of work in the call room, sales, event. Mostly now he's in charge of doing all the sales and putting all together a few events a month that we do with our accounts. And yeah, he actually selected Citra as his favorite hops. And basically the difference between Citra T90 and Citra Cry hops is the cold thing you were talking about, but that process that they do with the hops mainly what they do is you have more concentrated alpha acids, so you need to use less alpha acids and beta acids. Like all the hops, you need to use less quantities to obtain like the same flavors and aroma as if you use the T90s regularly. They're expensier than the regular ones, but they work pretty well. So we went with both of them. We added in different times for the dry hop. Mostly you want to work the cryo in the second dry hop, or that's what we use to obtain more flavor wise and more aroma for sure.
Right.
That's
Now we
basically-
jumped the gun a little bit because we want to know before we get into like the specifics in terms of the beer, like who are Trippin' Animals? Who makes up Trippin' Animals? Why is Trippin' Animals there? Like what is Trippin'
What
Animals?
is Trippin' Animals? Yeah.
Okay, so we're four families. We start like back in time 2013 in Venezuela. Start brewing like in the garage of my house, just to figure it out. If we like beer, we start hanging out in there, brew some beers, trying them, and at some point it became like a small business back then in Venezuela. But the country was like getting fucked up with government and all that. So 2015, one of our partners, Daniel, the CEO, decided to create this project and jump to Miami, Florida. So at that time, we started going back and forth between Venezuela and Miami until we finally get to open in 2018. And at that point, we managed to open. So since 2018, we're live in Doral, Florida. But we start all the journey back in Venezuela somehow as home brewing, and a few years actually in Miami, actually brewing and living the four of us together in the same house for a couple of years.
Why Miami?
Well, Miami, we actually have a few family partners here. Like my two cousins, my two uncles are here. Danny's uncles was help us a lot to open and have all like paperwork and permits and all together, so we were able to open. So that's basically where we jump first into Miami, and we have been living and seeing the community of craft beer growing a lot since we get here.
Now was there a big craft beer scene in Venezuela at the time?
No, not at all. It's really small. It's less than 1%. And it's a tough community and a tough like country to start trying to improve in that area.
What made you guys decide to even start brewing your own beer back then?
Well, I think by the time we start doing that, we were in the university still, but fortunately we get to travel a lot with our families, so we got to try a lot of different beers out of our country, because mostly what we drink in our country, even if it's a large quantity of beer, it's mostly macro industries. So you used to have only, I don't know, lagers and pilsners, and that was it. You didn't get to test anything different from that.
Same thing.
Gotcha.
So
You know, it's funny. You know, it's funny. Every story starts out with "when I was in college."
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
And a lot of stories talk about I went out of my country and drunk better beer. Like a lot of people drink better beer out of their own country.
It was totally like that. So we did like a small course of home brewing. Then we get small equipment and start brewing in my house. And later we figured out the first beer for sure weren't good or weren't as great as we thought. But we have been getting better, and now we're here. So yeah, that's why we basically started doing something different back then.
So I assume that Pilsner wasn't what you guys made when y'all were home brewing. What were you guys? What styles were y'all brewing back home?
We started doing blonde ales, pale ales, IPAs, saisons, a lot of classic styles from Belgium, but mostly those, blonde ales, pale ales, and IPAs.
Yeah,
those were the most that we were doing.
All right. So once you made the, so you said it was four families. So who makes up the four? That sounds.
So the four partners on the four families are Daniel Choqueron, it's our CEO, Ignacio Montenegro, CMO of the company, Iker, It's actually my cousin also, and myself.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And you all came together and well, you left Venezuela, came to Miami, in the area. So, well, I guess the question is, was that the first name of the business? Like, was Tripping Animals the first name y'all came up with, or like, why Tripping Animals?
Right, yeah. Definitely. Why Tripping Animals? It sounds dangerous.
So, but for us in Venezuela, tripping, we use the word tripear. So basically, that word means to us like having fun, having a good time. So we blend it together. We always want to have a brand represented with animals. So we mix up things, and then we got two tripping animals that are actually kind of high. All of the animals for sure.
Yeah, tripping.
So, and then we figured out the name was really for when we get here. A lot of people connect with us, like, "Oh, guys, are you tripping? Oh, yeah." So we need to explain actually the same story about the name of tripear for us in Venezuela.
So it wasn't really. So it really wasn't about mushrooms. It just happened to become.
Exactly.
Yeah,
then we figured it out, and
it got Americanized,
and it got better.
He was like, "Oh, this works. This is perfect."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
It was destiny.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder.
That's what it sounds like. It was destiny because I mean, but when I very first heard the name, it was like Tripping Animals. Like I don't understand it. And then Rob went to this Irie festival last year? The year before last year.
That was last year.
Yep.
Last year, and he explained to me like, and then after I looked at the character for the logo for the Irie Jungle
you understood
festival,
a lot
like,
more.
oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
I was like, he's tripping.
Yeah. I had a question. I lost it because I was thinking about the Tripping Animals.
Tripping.
So that was the first name agreed upon, or was that just like everybody knew, like because it associated tripping with your home. That's what everybody thought, like that was cool.
Oh, I thought Igor was answering.
No.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's like I've been a little bit on and off with the signal, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like the project, like when it started almost 7 years ago. From the beginning, it had tripping animals on it. So it was definitely something that from the beginning it was meant to be, and then honestly, it was a interesting kind of like blending the culture of like what tripping means here to what we had kind of like for tripping, but at the end of the day they kind of like converge on what we're trying to do as a brewery, which is basically create good moments with good friends over a good beer, which at the end of the day is kind of like the culture, of what we were speaking before, like the tripping culture of like mushrooms and all that is more to like find ways to connect with yourself and connect with other people like to a real level, and really be able to forget about everything that happens, their today life, of like sometimes we spend so much time thinking on only the problems and the negative. So it's always a great excuse to find a moment to kind of like disconnect from all these problems and just focus on having a good time, in this case over a good beer, and it's
Right.
and if it's with friends,
Absolutely.
that's the whole point,
Yeah.
Right. Now I know Juan said you and him are related. Like how do you know the other two gentlemen?
So Danny, he grew up with me since I was, I don't know, 4 years. We study all of our life together. So he's like my best friend since I'm a child.
Okay.
And Ignacio is a friend of Danny since they were kids, but from another state from Venezuela somehow. So they grew up like together because of their families, but not with me. all of like together. We met in college. We blend up all of us together, and then
so this is like a
lifelong,
lifelong team, lifelong journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be better, right? Sharing a business and going to work with some of the family and friends and stuff like that, having a good time, and it's with beer. I mean,
right?
American dream.
Right.
You're absolutely right. It sounds like it. Like definitely sounds like it. Was it? But was the brewery something that y'all always wanted to start, or it was just like, oh, we just going to do this home brew and have this to drink, or is this something that y'all had a goal towards?
So it started as something fun, as like for the hobby of like doing the beer and seeing like what happened. And then at that time it was more Juan and Daniel that were more involved with the home brewing. And the guys, the first like bottles that they saw that reception between the friends was positive, that there was like a positive feedback on it, and then they were like, oh, so we can actually sell it, and that's when the first brand was established, that it had another name back then in 2010, that it was Casa Coronarias. That's kind of like the first beer brand that at that point it was only 750 bottles, 3 or 4 styles, and something completely different to what we're doing now. But yeah, it started more like a hobby that suddenly became something like, oh, we can actually make a living out of this, and that's why also kind of like the next step, it got to a point where continued to doing it in Venezuela the way we were doing it. It was really not opportunity to kind of like make a living out of it, or to grow our brand into being able to learn about more different styles and be more a little bit innovation. So that's when we decided to take the project outside of Venezuela. And United States, of course, was our first option, because what we were seeing that was calling our attention was mainly for in the US, and it's kind of like a 3-hour flight from home here to Miami. Plus, we already had family and other, friends and family already here living in Miami. So it was kind of like the easiest gateway, to get here into the US with the project.
Do you think if there wasn't issues in your home country that you guys would have definitely stayed in Venezuela and opened up the brewery there?
Juan's face says
no. I would say that.
Juan says Miami is where I always wanted to be.
Juan, when you said that, Juan was like, shit.
Every job I took was to get to Miami, man. Because that was also going to be my other question. Were there other options, like of places to go besides Miami? But Juan's face says no.
What?
Miami was it.
Shit.
So no.
And so I don't know. Maybe if the situation in the country was different, I don't know if actually we were doing beer at this point. So because at that time, either of us, we were all studying, so it was kind of a hobby, and we saw an opportunity, as Igor was saying, to try to live out of it, and we created the project, and the country like kind of didn't give us that opportunity back there, so we jumped to Miami. But actually, I don't know if the situation was different in the country where we were here at this point, or even if we were still doing beer just for hobby, and not as a main business for all of us. But we got in love with the project, but if the situation was different in Venezuela, I don't really know if we were doing something else about our careers, something like that.
The thing is, like in Venezuela, definitely there's the challenge that I guess that we have been speaking about, that is kind of like the whole situation in the country. But there's also an additional part of the culture for beer in Venezuela. You know, like it doesn't exist, or it's really, 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 you know, like in 30, I think, you know, it's like a 30-million country, and you probably have less than 10 craft beers in the entire country, you know, and then like market share that these producers represent,
he's super choppy,
almost like inexistent.
Yeah,
I got choppy.
I heard majority of it, but
yeah, exactly. It was like
contact
like a robot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm in Venezuela.
We were just saying there really wasn't
Venezuela. That's why he doesn't have the good connection.
It really wasn't it really wasn't no opportunity for craft beer to really flourish
exactly.
In Venezuela at the time.
Is there one now? Like, has it changed any? Do you guys know?
What?
Has it changed any since then?
Ones that, I mean, the few ones that were there, some closed, some open, but it's pretty much still the same. You know, it's a let's call it a virgin craft beer market. You know, like there's not too many people doing, like, the breweries that are doing beer, like craft beer there, you know, doing like very classic styles. You know, they're still doing red ales, brown ales, and a couple of people here and there doing a little bit something different. But you know, there's no, like, let's put something like, I don't think like even hazy IPAs, you know, have even like become a thing there at all. You know, and that's already what, like 4 or 5 years here, you know.
All right. So I have a question in terms of brewing, because I know Iker said you were doing something a little different than what you currently are doing now. So what was the catalyst to make the change in terms of, well, we were brewing this style, but now let's try something different? Like, when did that happen? Like, when did that occur?
I think from the time that we actually get to open here and drop out the first styles we were making, we saw a lot of different things going on around us and the craft industry, like the hazy IPAs or the sours, heavy fruited sours. So we jump into that with a lot of help of other brands, actually, that'll help us to create those beers with our own like signature somehow. So that's why we start doing things differently, mostly with the sours. That I think that was the style that actually put us somehow in the map early in the first years that we were open, like the heavy fruited sours, a collab we did with King's Bagheera. That was like the first beer we actually sent to a festival, and that opened our doors to get to know another breweries out of state, doing some dope collabs, start traveling to festivals and things like that.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm not big on the agriculture of Venezuela, I should say. But have you incorporated some of the
that's what I was going to ask.
Some of the native fruits or ingredients from your homeland into some of the beers?
We have tried to get our culture involved, mostly in a lot of our labels. We have like specific things that mostly for all of you guys wouldn't make sense, but from us, like some of the names is something from back home, like Crema Paraíso, or some of the labels, like the name is weird, is because we have something like from Venezuela incorporated somehow.
Gotcha.
Other than that, we have been trying to use some fruits, but it has been difficult because we added as a frozen or fruit brewery aseptic. So most of the fruit we don't get to have them here, beside mango or passion fruit, that we use them a lot. But we have dropped a few concepts of barrel-aged stouts treated with sweetness candies from us, like Cocosete is a coconut wafer, or Pirulín, that it's actually another chocolate wafer from Venezuela. So those are the things we have been trying to get involved. Or if you have the chance to pass by the brewery and we have a pop-up, you can eat something native from us, like arepas, for example, or I think during ID week, previous to ID Jungle, we're gonna have arepas in the brewery for the people to pass by and get to know another breweries and from us. So you can get the culture that way from us.
That's nice.
Okay,
that was a good question, Rob. But it was crazy because I didn't expect. Because sometimes when you think of brewing, you don't think about the other stuff that can go into it. Like you were asking about the agriculture part, and he switched it up. Was like, oh, we got different candies and stuff that we use from there. Like you don't even think about that part of it when you're thinking about different places where like people are from. But that's lit though. I want to try some. I want to try some of that.
Well, it's funny also that he was saying that sometimes some of the can labels or the can name or the beer names are paying homage, and it's kind of like we might not know, but they know. It's kind of like when people some brewers came on here and said like I'm a big fan of hip hop, so some of our labels are hip hop lyrics, but some of our consumers don't know.
I have no idea. I'm drinking a Biggie Small
unless
stout.
You like hip hop.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like Easter. It's like Easter eggs for your real, true people you connecting with.
Right.
You know, that's good. Cool. Mm-hmm.
Yo, but on this beer that we drinking now, this is good. And I ain't heavy on the IPAs, but this is pretty good. Now, because it ain't as hoppy as I thought it was going to be after reading all that Citra on the can. Yeah, all that hoppy stuff. It's not as hoppy as I thought it was going to be. But I do have some settlement in there. Is that supposed to be like that? Like, you see? Can y'all see?
Yeah, I'm showing it right now. It's probably because also of the haziness with the time. Right. You got them like kind of solid separation in there. It's not like it's bad. Something in the beer. It just has been dropping with kind of the time of the beer in the shelf.
Makes sense.
Sometimes you just gotta switch it around a little bit.
Switch it around so you can blend it again.
Yeah, I drink it anyway, so it don't matter. I was just asking.
That's totally fine.
I'm gonna taste this sediment no matter what. But what is this?
Woo. And I went all that 8.5. I went all that 8.5, boy.
It's that sediment is like 0.6 in there. You want to get that last 0.6. Get that sediment. He gonna be licking it with his finger for real, Rob.
Now, I'm curious to know that since like you started like home brewing and stuff like that, like some of those old recipes made it into Tripping Animals? Like have some of those old recipes? Like have you done one of those?
Yeah, we have totally at the beginning we did them to open, and then recently we dropped one of the first one. It was a Duvel, the Belgian 8.0 ABV. That was the first one we got like a few medals before we opened. So last December we dropped it again, and it was good. Some of them are coming back to life now and then.
Okay,
all right, that's like the origin story.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
What's under 8% there, y'all? Y'all got anything under 8% that y'all make? Like
8%.
You can't trip if it's not above 8%.
It ain't no day drinking. It ain't day animals. Day drinking animals. No, it's tripping animals.
No, we have a few under 8%. Yeah, for sure we have.
They like 7.9. We got like 7.9.
Oh, go around 7. The lagers.
I think that like was it no mas or something like that, or I think that's not 8. That's
no, like 6. Yeah. The lager, no mames, that's the other core beer.
Well, that's it.
Yeah,
that's the highest ABV Mexican lager in the world, right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, it's low, but it's still high.
It's low, but it's still high.
Low for them.
It's delicious. So if you are
always.
I would say it's delicious. So if you are in the area, definitely go check it out, because that is I had it when I was down there, and it was a good beer. I mean, I love Mexican lager, so I mean, and I didn't know it was the highest. I just
in the world.
I know.
In the world,
do y'all think
go ahead, Real. Go ahead,
you can go ahead.
Well, because y'all speaking of in the area, are you guys able to distribute yet? Are y'all local to just Miami and Doral, all of Florida? Like, how's y'all distributing? Or you have to just be at the brewery to get the beer?
So that has been a quick like different situation for us in the sense of like when we started the first year, it was only taproom. So if you wanted to drink Tripping Animals, you had to come to the taproom.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic hit, and in a frame of years, we started sending beer to over 18 different states. So now, in our fourth year of operation, going to the fifth, we send with regularity to between 8 and 10 different states. Of course, Florida, we service Florida all the way from Miami all the way to Tallahassee, so the entire state of Florida. And then we have distribution in the Carolinas, in Georgia, in Delaware, Maryland, Massachusetts, California.
Shout out to the other side.
Right.
Philadelphia. Yeah. So we're
Nice.
pretty much across we have a really nice footprint. To all the states like out of state, it's almost like it's more like small drops, you know. So people can find from time to time kind of like Tripping Animals on the shelf, and it's exciting. And then we have other states that we started also like sending our cores and growing our brand in a little bit more, you know, like, you know, trying to find like those good draft lines, inserting like good craft beer bars across the country. That's kind of like the main goal, you know.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So just speaking, I guess, and it would be right to talk about, since I was down there last year, in terms of the Irie, like who's brainchild or whose thought was that to make the Irie Jungle Festival? Like who thought of that? Especially since it's coming up in was it April 22nd, 23rd?
22nd, yeah.
22nd.
Yeah. Well, that was really like an inspiration that we got from going to all these other really cool beer festivals, you know. Kind of like an opportunity for us to really like understand and learn about the craft beer culture. Was traveling to other cities to assist to other beer festivals. We also had one here that it's done by Wakefield. It's called Wakefest, and it's in the country, and like going to those festivals and like seeing and living like what those festivals like created. We're like, oh no, do our beer festival, you know. And it worked perfect like around the 420, because we were able to like spin off of the whole, you know, 420 meaning.
Right.
With kind of like it's a mix. It's not like a regular beer festival that you just come and it's just like beer and that's it. You know, like we like to put live music. We always put like some nice like ska or reggae bands. This year we are gonna have like some art installations, some other like vendors. So it's more than just the beer. Irie Jungle is kind of like a lifestyle, you know, experience, right? It's it's not
definitely
only
a
going
vibe.
and
It
trying
definitely is a
the
vibe.
beers. Yeah,
Right.
it's cool
It's
that you flew in, man. That's dope.
Yeah, it's definitely a vibe. I mean, because I think it before now, and I don't know what vibe it was. Was it really, really re-enhancing? I mean, and I guess taking on the Miami vibe, or was it just a Venezuelan vibe, or maybe it's a hybrid of both? Because it wasn't like I've been to a lot of different beer festivals. It definitely wasn't like it wasn't like other beer festivals. So it definitely was a different vibe and an energy that was definitely liver than some of the other beer festivals I've been to. So it was a good time, and I'm looking forward to the 22nd of this year as well. To come down and I mean, you can't be Miami either or Doral. You can't be either or. Close enough to say.
Yeah,
it's,
Florida in
it's
April
definitely
is
a
easy.
mix. We exactly. That's the first thing. We gotta hear that they leave their house like 6 feet under snow, and they get here to 85,
Right.
weather.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that already it gives a nice plus to the event.
Right.
But yeah, like it's funny because sometimes when we go to other cities to do beer festivals, uh, when the beer festival is done, there's pretty much nothing else to do.
Right.
Like maybe there's like this one bar, that is the only open bar in the entire town that you go and you have some drinks in there. Instead, here in Miami, like once the beer festival is over, there's over, probably 300 different like bars, clubs, like whatever type of like vibe or thing that you're gonna, trying to get for fun after the festival. Plus, also a bunch of restaurants and different areas to see. So it's kind of like a more than a beer festival. It's almost it becomes a vacation. Like you can come do the day at the beach, eat good food, do the beer festival, take a nap, and then go out and party. Your own way. You can go to a rave hours, or
I'll pass on the rave.
Get on that rave, man. Get that bass thumping.
I mean,
it's all about that bass.
Yeah, if you already tripping,
tripping,
the rave is
tripping,
where you need to be. It may be more the spot.
if you really tripping,
Actually,
You ain't gonna have to come back home looking for I'm looking for ecstasy pills. Like I need them. Nope.
I have to apologize to your wife.
this month, actually, we're gonna drop a collab that we're gonna do with a club that is called Club Space. So Club Space, if you guys haven't heard from it, it's one of like pioneers and leaders here in the hospitality night scene, not only here in Miami, but almost like around the world. Like these guys have party with the best DJs every weekend. And through the opportunities and the connections that we have done in the community, we were actually able to connect with them, and we're gonna drop a collaboration beer. It's gonna be a sour between us and Club Space, and that's kind of like a milestone for us to be able to be working, with people that are so professional and they're so, different in what they do. So that's something that we're really happy about.
All right.
That's awesome.
And there's an animal on the can. It's a panda, right? Is that
It's a panda, yeah. We lost him.
What's happening?
Exactly.
He was good for a minute.
I'm on the move, man.
He went into that tunnel. He drove into that tunnel, man. You gotta stay out the tunnels.
So back to the artwork. Who actually does the artwork? Who does the
So we had a graphic designer since the start. He's still in Venezuela, actually. It's called David Leon. It's a top artist. He created both brands. The first one when we start back in Venezuela, and then when we jump into Tripping Animals, he have been creating mostly all of the artwork that we do is from him.
Oh, so it's always is back to Venezuela because it's on the can all the time.
All the time.
His artwork is crazy. I can't. It's like.
How do you decide on what animal is tripping this month or for this beer?
For that particular can, yeah.
Then for that we have Ignacio, that's a CMO. So he's always with him on the phone, like trying to create new things. Like, okay, we need a new concept, we need a new animal, and sometimes it's just the two of them. Sometimes it's just in the office. We are all working together, and I don't know. Iker had an idea about an animal, and then we have a can and a concept, and then we go.
Yeah, luckily there's a gazillion animals out there.
Right. Does it always go? What comes first? Like name, concept, animal, or animal? Is it always different? Animal, concept, can? Like what comes first?
It's always different.
Exactly.
Okay.
Different orders, like there's no something
Somebody
like okay,
walks in and like, oh, I got a lion, and then y'all just
exactly.
That's the good thing. That's one of the good things about Instagram. Like you're just there losing time, and then suddenly it's like, oh, look at this great idea for a beer. Just like send it to Ignacio and just like have a boom. I don't know. Spitting in a little kid's face or stealing someone's banana. Be like, bro, that's a great concept right there.
Right.
I just saw that honey badger.
That's the new animal. We got a honey badger now.
Honey badger, you see?
Speaking of the kid, like y'all logo, the actual logo.
Yep.
What is that? An egg?
That's an eye. That's an eye.
It's an
eye. Why would an egg?
Okay, I see it.
That's an eyelid.
It's an eyelid. It looks like an egg with a dot. I'm like, what the fuck is that? An egg with a hat on.
A yin yang egg. A yin yang egg.
With the price of the eggs, we're not gonna be spending money on labor.
We can't afford it.
Can't fuck around with that.
That's the eye is cheaper. The eye is cheaper.
That's a damn shame. The eye cheaper than the egg.
Well, put some eyes over there.
But and if you go to the website and it cut the eye the little dot actually moves, so it's like
exactly.
So you can
dilating.
Yeah.
Oh no, it moves around like it's looking at your pointer.
See it.
So you know for sure it's an eye.
It's like the Mona Lisa. It's like the Mona Lisa,
Always following you. Oh.
Look, because every time I got a sticker on my beer fridge, and I walk past it, be like, "What the fuck is that?"
It's always looking at you too. It always got his eye on you.
Oh, now you know it's that tripping animal looking at you.
You thought it was an egg's belly button.
I thought it was an egg. Maybe I'm the tripping animal.
You saw the Chinese balloon. You saw the Chinese. This is the Venezuelan eye, bro.
Don't shoot that down. Don't shoot it down.
Always watching.
Terrible.
Well, there you go. Well, speaking of that, who came up with the logo? Like, who came up with, once you had the name, like what was the thought behind the logo idea?
That was actually Ignacio's brother, Fernando. That he's also a huge craft beer, drinker. The people who really like have spent time and a lot of damage to the liver getting to know the craft beer culture. And he's so like he's not involved in the day-to-day, but he's always sending good ideas our way. And I know that he was the one who kind of like pointed to Ignacio, like, bro, like the eye is where, that's our logo right there. Because we had like our logo kind of like the classic, just like Tripping Animals Brewing, like, classic logo. And then he wanted to get that like something that it's funny, that it's fresh, that it's simple, but eventually with time, people will start recognizing the eye, like without it having to say, like without the challenge is make people know that that's Tripping Animals without it saying Tripping Animals.
Right, like the Nike swoosh.
Right.
Or the Jordan dunk.
Exactly. Well, a little bit with a little less money, but
right now, you never know.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere, man. You're good.
It might be a Tripping Animals.
Yeah, and not a little bit, a lot less, but we're in the way.
I don't know. Ika, right now, the way you look right now, look like you got money on this.
Yeah, man. The sun's shining. He ain't driving. He's drinking. There's a lot going on in Miami over there today, man.
I'm in Kia Rio 2015, bro.
Now you could have lied and told us anything, man. You
exactly.
Kia Rio.
That's what I'm saying.
That's an 04 Rio.
You should have sat in the back. You should have sat in the back.
I'm really jealous of people that can roll their R's. This is really getting on my nerves.
all this, and you having trouble.
You know what's a flight? The Rolls Royce. Double rolling. I'm hearing my Rolls Royce.
There you go. There you go.
That's what it look like. You look like money right now.
Roll them R's, Rob.
I can't. That's why I didn't. Spanish was not my strongest language because my teacher said you can't roll your R's. What are you doing here? I was like,
you're out of here.
You'll
never make it.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know, like, what I know that you started in experimenting like in college days. So what was your what was the beer that made you say, you know what, I want to start drinking? Like what was their beer? What was beer you were drinking and said, you know what, I want to do this. I want to start making beer, or even just play around with beer. Like what was that beer that you were drinking on?
I would say back in time, when we first tried like IPAs, West Coast IPAs or any, it was mostly bigger brands, the ones we used to get, but I would say Lagunitas IPA was kind of the ones like first time was like, oh, this shit is different, we really like it. So I would say that at least for me.
Okay. Iker, what about you?
For me, it was in France. I tried some lambics that really kind of like opened my brain and my palate, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like this is beer.
Yeah.
Lambics are so far from what a beer is or supposed to be.
Yeah.
St. Ives.
And it was also like in the middle of a wood, like next to the beach. So the setting was already like mystic by itself. But once I tried that beer, I was like, oh yeah. Now we are really far from doing those style of beers, but it got me into it. So.
Yeah. Right.
No. Do you ever plan to do something in that similar style, or like a wild ale of some sort, or going to some of that farmhouse? Because I don't know. Do you do a saison and stuff like that? Do y'all do a saison?
No, right now we haven't done it. We have been talking about it, like trying to do something like a small batch of a table saison, something like that. And other than that, we have a few beers, barrel aged sour, in a Sauvignon Blanc barrels that we're planning to drop this year.
When you say this year, how long is that? Like
April?
We're planning to maybe the first one. We're trying to drop it by April. We're working on it to have it
right around the end of April, right around like the 22nd or something.
The 22nd, yeah. We're trying to have it on those dates.
I like those dates. Dates. I may be in Florida around that time.
And also the thing with those beers is like we like to do them and we like to drink them, but they don't necessarily sell, at the same speed. And it's a conversation that we have like repeatedly with a bunch of like our industry friends. That there are all these beer styles that we would like to like be able to do and brew more constantly, but they just don't sell, and at the end of the day, once you're, besides having fun and doing beer, it's also running a business, and all this, boring stuff come in consideration of like, oh, you actually, you need to pay salaries, right? So,
I know. We did it. I've been going on a campaign to get my fellow beer drinkers to try different styles.
Yes, please. Yeah.
It's not just IPAs out there, guys. Drink something different.
Right.
There's ESBs, for example.
Lambics out here. Sours. Yeah. It's all different types of styles. It's styles that we probably never heard of. Right. They just don't sell.
And
exactly.
How do you
and I guess you gotta read the room.
What is it like? How, besides like Rob going to every person that just drinks IPAs and asking them to try something different, like how do you get, because it seems like every brewer that we talk to wants to make something besides a Pilsner or an IPA or whatever is quote unquote popular. How do we get to change the consumer's taste buds? Like, how does that work? Does anybody know? I guess no one knows because we keep making this overwhelming amounts of IPAs.
the thing is like the speed or the time frame that it can happen is way slower that what we want to see these styles come in with. What, like, for example, every time a person comes into our tap room that have never drink craft beer, that's an opportunity for all these amazing beers that we cannot brew. Why? Because they're not expecting anything, and
Right,
Right.
sometimes
right. That's true.
sometimes we find more success with these not so common craft beer styles in the recent years, because maybe they are people who are maybe like very foodie. Let's put an example, and maybe drinking a table farm, a farmhouse, or a saison, in their head, they're like, oh shit, this could go great, with my chicken recipe, or my beef stew, So it's really about how can we get more people to drink craft beer in general, you know, because the
Yeah.
population of people that drink craft beer, it's like sometimes I do the exercise like with my friends, and I asked them like, yo, when was the last time you went to a brewery? When was the last time that you try a new beer? And probably out of 10, maybe one visit a brewery like in the last 2 or 3 months, you know,
Really?
and that's yeah,
Damn.
because here in South Florida, like the scene is it's cocktails, it's clubs, so it's a little bit different, you
I mean,
know.
I guess it's not a bad thing if
Um,
it's always tripping animals that they visit, but
yeah,
only,
it's
this is the only place I visit.
But then,
you
like
know,
he was saying, if you have a, a older beer drinker, they already know they like pilsners, so they gonna just always gravitate to the pilsners. Whereas a newer beer
Right.
drinker will taste the pilsner, they'll taste the sour, they'll taste every, and they'll taste whatever you put in front of them, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll decide. So if you decide I don't want to show them the IPA today, they may not.
exactly.
They may walk away never knowing if they like or not like the IPA, but they may say, "Oh, I like this farmhouse Saison,"
Well, I
and they
think
go
there.
ahead. I never can say it right,
Well, I
but
think
it
there's
all.
a campaign. I
But
think there is a campaign out there for changing your thoughts on IPA because
Mhm.
there's a survey saying that if you like IPAs or bitter drinks, that you are a psychopath. So I think somebody is working
I
on
like that
behalf of.
campaign. I love that campaign. Let me sign up. Where's that petition at?
You
They
didn't hear
are
that study?
psychopaths.
There's a study saying if the more bitter drinks you like, the more your personality is a little dark.
We already have four.
Amen.
We have already four signatures already here in this podcast.
We are ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah. No, but another thing that I thought about your question, Lou, is that um one thing that we have been doing lately, and it has had like great results. It's also combining craft beer with food experience.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
a lot of people don't affiliate necessarily like beer with with like high 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 complexity food, or like beer it's looked more as a commodity that is there every day, right? And it's just
Right.
like, oh, it's beer, you know compared to wine that people think that it's a little bit
Right.
more like elevated or classy.
Right. Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is like we're trying to collaborate, and we're trying to do events across the city with different chefs and different, you know, people that are involved in the culinary world. So now we can get into the palate of all these amazing and potential customers of craft beer by a whole different avenue, you know, because they're sitting to eat their scallop, but then suddenly they're having it with a kettle sour, tart, cherry, dark berries, all the berries, sour. And
Yeah.
now
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
their brain and their palate is like, what? Like, this is beer?
I
So
didn't know this
now,
could even be done.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, no, we're doing a lot. Like, we're working on it. We're doing a lot of like beer pairings, So now you have all
Mhm.
these people like paying a pretty well price point ticket to do a beer pairing with food, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And out of
Mm-hmm.
those 20 or 25 people that sit on each table, there's probably 5 or 10 that have never even tried craft beer period, you know. But now with the opportunity of like giving it hand by the food, that everybody loves food, it's also a nice way to, you know, to introduce the, I don't know if that's a correct word. That sounded rough.
We're gonna let you go with it. We're gonna let you go, but yeah,
He's self-corrected.
But you had it, man. You was good.
Oh man, he caught himself.
Yeah, your English, y'all's English is wonderful. Don't ever let nobody tell you different. Look, this is how far my Spanish goes. Hola, como estás? And I almost got that wrong because of this 8%.
Oh my goodness!
We understood. We understood what you said.
Yeah. Yep. You stopped the show. We would have let that one go.
Yeah, we let it roll.
Yeah. And truthfully, I think our beers actually have more styles and complexity than wine. It's just been a what they marketed back then. Yeah, for sure.
I think
that's
maybe
just
you
what
got to put them in.
They made it fancier.
You got to pour it in the
I agree with that.
Pour it in a fancy glass.
Right, you put that thing in a tulip glass.
Look, champagne go hard, and I don't understand it, but it's the bubbles. You know what I mean? People love them bubbles, and they like, oh, I'm gonna drink this champagne with some orange
juice. There's carbonation in beer.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Put in the champagne flute. And everybody like, ooh, beer. Like, this is so great. Look at the bubbles. So
we just need one of the Kardashian sisters chugging a beer. And that's how we
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Well, the lady who was doing the halftime at the Super Bowl, she loves beer, so you got somebody on the team.
Oh, yeah, that would be fortunate. That would be fortunate.
Yeah, that's true.
If we could get her to drink tripping animals on the stage next Sunday. Oh man.
I've taken tripping animals to a different level.
Right. They wouldn't have enough beer.
Right. Let's work this out, guys. Let's get some beer in Rihanna's hands.
Yeah, she already said she liked beer. She said it.
Say that.
Yeah. In that situation, you wouldn't have the sediment because it would be already shaked. You see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rihanna looked like she would chug a beer, though. I feel like Rihanna would chug a beer.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Anybody who says publicly that how much they like beer would chug one.
Yeah, or a good shotgun. I guess shotgun beer is
that's fine too.
A good beer. That's fine.
That's fine too. Yeah.
So, Rob, did you get a chance when you were there? You got a chance to go to the actual brewery?
Yeah, because the event is at the brewery.
Yeah, okay.
Once the event's over, the brewery's back open again. So it's like, you just go right back in. Hey, I'm still here, guys.
I only asked that because I've never been, and I'm thinking like, what's the vibe of a brewery? Is it like?
It's like these two gentlemen, probably all four of the gentlemen. It takes on their personalities for sure.
Okay. Sounds good.
Do you at the brewery? Is there food there? Food trucks? Do you have a restaurant? Like, how does that work? How do we eat?
We have a third party taking care of the kitchen. Right now, it's called Meat and Bone. They actually have a restaurant in Coral Gables. It's like 20 minutes from us. So they open another operation inside the brewery. So they are in charge of the kitchen right now. It's not like on us directly.
Okay.
So a third party totally.
It's Meat and Bone.
Meat and Bone.
Oh man, that's a good name for a restaurant.
Do y'all pair stuff with that? That's
a good question, Yoda.
Yeah, we try to drop specials. Well, monthly, and sometimes we drop those specials with one of the beers that we're dropping in the same month. But they're not always like every course is with something in the menu. But the special we like to drop them like, if you order this burger special with this sour or this IPA, we try to pair them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's always
you know, this is just the idea that I had because of the pairing you're saying with the food. If like say y'all said we got this great burger and it goes with this stout that we made, and we want our customers to eat the burger and drink the stout. Maybe like if you eat the burger but you drink a sour, it costs $10. But if you actually do the pairing that we ask you to do, that we're telling you to do, it costs $8. Yeah, it's $8. You get a discount for actually tasting it the way that we want you to taste it and having the experience. But if you go out here and you getting French fries and you don't get the stout, you don't get no discount, but you get a discount if you get the French fries or a farmhouse is on. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good idea.
I mean, it could work for
we always talking about because we talking about how food seems like to be the barrier to get people to taste different types of craft beer and pairing the food and making sure that the beer goes well with this particular food. Yeah, you get a little bit off the top if you eat it the way we told you to. But if you don't, you pay full price. More than full. Make them pay more than full price. If you get a fucking sour and an ice cream cone, and that's not what we told you, it's $14. But if you get it the way we told you, you may get it for $8. I like it. If you don't use it, I will, guys. So 10% Yoda, 10%, baby.
All right. Now, I'm curious to know if someone who was coming in from somewhere else or was coming into Tripping Animals, what is the 1 or 2 beers or the 3 or 4 beers that they have to try before they walk out of the establishment?
Do you guys do flights before you answer that question? Do y'all have flights there?
Yeah, we do flights. Yeah.
Okay, then go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say before you go out, you should be able to try our core beers. We often have like sours, IPAs, and lagers. So if you go with the core beers, you're gonna be able to try the Mexican lager, the hazy IPA that it's Iker drinking right now, or sour that it's called Limonada Rosada. It's like pink lemonade sour, and then the dark no mames, that it's the dark lager we have. Mm-hmm. So I would say those 4 beers you should try. They're always
there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that pink lemonade sour.
Yeah, I like that. I can't wait to taste that. I wanna go back to what Iker's drinking. You said that's like a collaboration beer with your employees. How often do you guys do that?
No, beer? He was talking about what we were drinking.
We were talking about Devo.
Devo. Okay, I'm sorry. You guys knew, so it doesn't matter. How often do you guys do the collaboration with your employees, and how do you pick which person picks the hop or picks or has the idea? Because like you said, y'all picked the one guy who decided on what hop he liked. How do y'all guys do that, and how often?
So whenever we sit together to like decide calendar and which beers we're doing for the next upcoming month, we have like a list of like, okay, who is missing to do the beer for them and the art for any of the back of the house people or front of the house. So we decide which one we're doing. It's not like a specific like, oh, it's time for a production member or for front of the house. Like if we kind of like to do it from one of the bartenders, then we go for it. Then we sit with them and try to create the label like kind of together, or Iggy usually have something in his mind, and then he drops it to her or to him, and then review it, and then we try to tell them like if you want a sour or IPA, or if it's going to be a sour IPA, to select either fruits or hops, and then we have it on the calendar, and then we drop it and try to do something.
Yo, I like a random employee. Is this the random employee? It's not like the employee of the month gets it. It's just like, oh, you know what?
Yo, I like
everyone. I appreciate everyone.
I wish my job did some shit like that.
Yeah, like, pull me out of work so I can brew a beer today. That's cool. That's really, and that keeps the camaraderie. Like you never know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So you know how when you have these with these jobs with big corporations and stuff, they always send out these like employee surveys and shit, right? And they actually do you feel like you're involved in your job and appreciate and all this shit? Man, they ain't pulling me to the side, asking me shit. Ask me if I want to do anything. Like
that's what you gotta put in the suggestion box next time. Next time they give you the survey, you're like, I would like to be taken to a brewery to make my own beer, please.
Right, I'm about to say, fuck them. I'm going to Tripping Animals. I quit.
Right, but it also
I'm appreciated.
It's also
appreciated at Tripping Animals.
Yeah. It's a good homage to the employee, but it's also a good strategy because you know that employee gonna say, "Yo, you try my beer?"
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Sure. Fucking happy with the beer.
It would be messed up though if I've been here for 2 years and I never got picked, and this dude that been here for 6 months got picked twice. I'll have some trouble with that. I'll have to have a meeting with HR. Like this raffle ain't raffling the right way.
Pull them in the office. Well, it's because we feel like your taste buds are like you have a horrible palate, so we decided that we're never going to pull you.
You have the worst taste buds in the company.
That's probably what it is.
Right. Everything we hate, you love it. That's not how this works.
That's an agreement.
That's
we have to agree
funny.
on this.
We've never put you in the front of the house because you can't sell beer.
That's terrible.
You sell all the skunk stuff. Like,
but that's a good idea though. I feel like a lot of breweries should do that. One,
employers in general. Yeah, like
employers in general.
Not necessarily like if you're a brewery, like you could just do something like if you're a pot, like if you're an airline, like take the people out to fly planes or something. You know what I mean? Like let them jump out the plane for free. They always do something around. Let them look. You know how Spirit or whatever that you can write the name on the plane or put the animal on the plane. Like let them pick the animal this year. Like that's your animal. Now you looking at the plane like that's my animal. That's my I pick that whatever. Yeah, that's my honey
but
badger.
I say that about breweries because one, it kind of like takes the load off of everybody involved because if somebody else is suggesting it, then now all of us don't have to get together to say what the hell we gonna make or what we gonna name it or whatever. It's a real collab. Like
and you can actually pick different people. Like you name the beer, you pick the animal. You
I think that's a dope idea. That's good, yo.
Y'all doing really good things.
That's the first I heard.
But I worked down there for like 3 days. I'll be down there. I'll be down there for 4. I'll work for 8 hours. I got one shift in me. But pick me the next time though. Like that's the only 8 hours.
You're gonna be the guy they mad at. They're gonna be
HR. You can go to HR. I'm not going to HR. If I go to HR, I'm going to big y'all guys up. Like y'all doing good work down there. I only do 8 hours.
You just followed up and said, "I'll be mad if I've been here 2 years."
Right.
I can do a shift. I can do one shift. Look, I'm not gonna be there long. What you want me to work the whole time I'm there? That's no fun. I work the whole time. If I work the whole time, do I get the beer?
That's hilarious. Think about it.
Y'all think about it.
When they say think about it,
that means no, right? So look, we're back down to 8 hours. Then look, I'm doing half a day now. Like I'm do it. My other half, I'll be drinking all the time.
No, but it sounds like they got something good going on.
Yeah, that employee thing is good. I like that a lot.
Like that, yeah.
I mean, you know what, man? It really comes from a combination of what you guys were talking about, like the marketing point of like now everyone is proud of their beer and like want to sell it to their friends and the whole thing. But really the main reason is like I don't think that there's too many industries that people are so happy and like proud to be a part of it than craft beer, and and it's crazy like how much happiness and motivation you can give to your team just of giving them the opportunity to participate in something like that, So
definitely.
So it's definitely it's a nice combination in there,
Right.
Right, because they always talk about engagement, employee engagement, and stuff like that, and that actually is the great way to engage. Like, hey, this is something I was a part of. I'm not just here just saying, this no mas is great. You actually
right. Yeah, that no mas is mine. It's a big difference. Or even when you say
Yeah.
that no mas is my coworkers over there, like he invented the no, he put that together. Like not saying that is but just an example.
Yeah, we got it. We got
Yeah,
it.
You know?
Actually, right now we have on next month we have one that is called the Falcor Castillo. It's a single IPA, and that's one for our front of the house managers, Selim.
Nice.
And then in March we're working one for the Women's Day that we're gonna represent in animal figures. Our ladies that also do a great job back of the house or in front of the house every day. So it is something that we don't have kind of like a set structure to it, but we know for a fact that we want to continue doing it. And even though it's also one of the challenges that we have, it is something that also makes us different. That we don't put anything like set on stone. If we find something that we think that it's funny, that it's fresh, that we like to do it, we don't need a whole year to plan it or whatever. It's something that we always say like, oh, it's actually pretty cool that we can do whatever the fuck we want. Like just call a beer the name that we want, just put a label of whatever we want, just use whatever hops we want. So we take that opportunity as a responsibility and also as something fun. So there's really not like a structure on how do we set like who employee is going to be. We're like, oh, we know that you haven't been in a label. Like we will reach out to you and be like, hey, bro, you're up. Like, what do you want to do? And you see like the face of the people. Like, they just get happy, and that's pretty cool to do, to be able to make happy people at work. One of the things that I've always like, it always make me like super happy is like to see how much time our people spend outside their working hours at the brewery. Sometimes I go in and I see like a brewers on a Saturday at 7, and I'm like, yo, what you doing here? And he's like, no, bro, I brought my entire family, my girlfriend's family. Like we all came to hang. And I'm like, yo, it's so fucking cool
hanging
that
at work off
that,
hours. That's
right? Like,
because I'll be damned if I take my family to my job.
I would never go to my job.
I don't even want to go in that bitch when I gotta be in there. So I used to be
there. They be paying me to go there, and I'm like, can I get out of this today? Man, that's wonderful.
That is.
You can't drink at my job though.
That says a lot about you guys as a company.
The environment and the family that you promoting.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. It feels like feels like somewhat place you can really enjoy yourself. I'm curious. Have y'all used the dolphin as a tripping animal? I'm just curious.
Florida.
Yeah, we did one that was called Delfín hasta el fin. That is called Dolphin to the End.
Do you at the brewery? Is there anywhere where you have like a list of all the animals? Like, is there any display of like all the like, different animals design? But I want like not in the back of the house, like for the display in the front of the house, like everybody can see all the different animals that have been on cans. Because I know y'all know all the animals. I know y'all know, but do like the customers know? Is there any place in the brewery like for that?
No, not really. I mean,
not in front of the house, like back of the house in the walk-in cooler. Before you enter in the walk-in cooler, we have mostly all of the labels we have done. Like in the door, and then on the other side of the building in front of our office, we're trying to do the same with a different wall, so you are able to look whatever we have been created in all this time. But
now, have y'all used the Philadelphian Eagle?
That should be coming up. That should be your February animal.
Animal, right?
Your February animal.
You a Philly fan?
Absolutely, all day.
We would have never said it if we weren't.
Right.
There was a question: do y'all sell the leftover can labels?
We have a few labels in front of the house that we sell, but often people ask to us like if we can send them labels, and we manage to do them. Like whatever we have the leftovers, if I can get we can send them to them.
Okay.
They write to us to the info email. We usually send them the labels.
Okay.
Deer tripping
Yeah.
animals.
I would like that. It should literally. You should have a subscription. A subscription. It should be a part of your subscription.
Yeah, you know.
How many animals have you guys used?
I don't know.
That's good. No, that's
yeah.
enough. That's
There's a lot of them.
That's a lot. That's a lot of animals.
That's a trivia question on Jeopardy.
That's a trivia question they should have at the brewery. And one more question about the animals. Do you have you ever repeated an animal?
Yes, we've had.
Okay. Not like you have a bulldog and then you got a beagle, but like you got like a lion and then another lion. Or like a beagle and another beagle. That was easy.
No, not really. It's more like we have a dog, but then we have like a bulldog. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
different,
but not two bulldogs. Good. I like that. I like that.
I mean,
there's so many animals out here.
We have used the bull in the bull. I think
I think we have used the bull like a couple of times, or at least two.
Okay.
All right.
The bull.
What's the guy on this can? This is a rat on the can that we got today.
Kind of.
Yeah, that looks like a rat.
Yeah. There's so much. Yo, this can. I see why she asked that question though. This can art has a lot of detail to it.
It's a lot of things.
There's a lot of detail.
It definitely is an definitely is art for sure.
Those labels usually take between 5 and 7 days to get them fully
detailed, completely approved before we decided like, okay, it's good to go.
Yeah,
let's send them to print.
I like it. I like it a lot. I keep looking at it because it's just like you can even when the light hit it. It kind of because it got these little sparkly, like you know what I'm saying, like right here, these little cloud things, and then this glass is like it's just great. It's nice, yo.
This guy crazy, man.
And if you drink another one, it will start talking to you.
He gonna be like, Yoda. I'll be like, what? No.
You want these votes? Come get these votes.
What's that?
All right.
That's funny.
What I'm curious to know, and this is kind of off topic. What is your preferred style of beer? Like, what is the beer style that you like the most individually?
I would say lagers and sours.
Okay.
Sours, my man Juan. I see you, Juan. Sours.
Sours. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Do you still like Alambic? Even though y'all don't make them, do you still drink Alambic, or what do you like?
Yeah, whenever we can, we drink them, but mostly a lot of kettle sours from other breweries.
Mm-hmm.
And I love whenever we have to create a new concept for us. Like, what are we doing this time?
Nice.
And Ika, what is your favorite beer style?
Dude, I've been crushing the Everhaze lately like never before. I'm just drinking pints. I'm drinking pints of Everhaze as I wake up
every day
until I go sleep.
Yeah. You can find him every day in the brewery.
I was like, I know.
Of Everhaze, like, hey, hello, good morning.
I don't know how that long is gonna last, but I'm loving it.
Right now, that's what it is. Yeah. Awesome.
Right. Juan said he was like, "Good morning,
good night."
I'll see you tomorrow.
The night becomes the morning, you know, like
right. It just runs
exactly.
together. Only thing changes is the sunshine.
Once we found out what the name really meant for y'all, I mean, you all looking to have a good time. I get it. So
yeah, all you have to do is talk to them for a little bit. You understand?
Yeah, right.
All right. Any more questions for Juan or Iker? I almost said Iker.
You almost did it. Yep. You almost got through the whole.
He's driving at this point, so.
Oh yeah, I'm driving now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing the change. I don't remember the change.
It was smooth.
It was quick.
Yeah.
It was smooth.
It was definitely him just taking the seatbelt off and never getting out of the car. They got the long, like the old school, the 1984 Oldsmobile.
I had to cut the camera, throw the can away, add a cup of water, and then grab this. You're like
everything. He was all the right moves.
Right. All right. Well, we want to thank Iker and Juan for coming through on the podcast.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys.
Go
ahead, Yoda. Go ahead, Yoda. You got another question?
No. I don't know if he was going to act because I know what he normally does at the end of the show. But like with the festival coming up, like how can people get tickets to the festival?
There you go. Yeah.
So you can get them through our website. Like you can click events and it's gonna pop up the Ivory Jungle, or by our Instagram, Tripping Animals Brewing. You can get into the link tree, and that actually will take you to the Ivory Jungle event, and then to the tickets either from Eventbrite or from Osner. We're gonna be able to get them.
Yeah. And something that we're working new that is going to be super cool for everyone is we're actually also working on a beer finder that people are going to be able to go into our website, and we're slowly adding the states that we distribute in. So people are going to be able to put their zip code and see what's the nearest place that they sold tripping animals in the last 13 weeks. So, if you're out of town,
Awesome.
I mean, I got what he's saying. He was saying if you were
saying some important shit. He's
that's what happens when you drive and you go through that dead zone.
Exactly.
But I think most people got what he's saying. With you can go to put your zip code in and find out where the local spot is near you.
Exactly.
On that, because I know I found. Shout out to other side. Like I said, there's around our neighborhood. There was two places that had it, so it was awesome. It was easy to acquire.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Is anyone? And you already said the Instagram in terms of how they can find you as well. And the website. What is the website? I think he said you can go to
trippinganimals.com.
Okay, trippinganimals.com.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if y'all want people to find y'all personally. I don't know. Do you want them to find you personally as well?
Mostly by Instagram. It's gonna be like
the
same Tripping Animals, and then you will have like Tripping Animals Iker, Tripping Animals Ignacio, or Daniel, or myself.
Okay. Word.
So, Juan is single, so he does DM girls. Come on.
They open, ladies. If you're in the Florida area,
slide into Juan's DMs.
Go ahead and get into Juan's DMs.
Yeah,
Tripping
Juan try to act like Juan try to be
have to
cool about it. Mine the same thing.
He doesn't have to be in the Florida area. He'll try.
Oh, it does not have to be in the Florida area. It just has to be. Yeah. Good job. Yo, Iker is a wingman. God, he's a double wingman.
Thanks, cuz.
Right. Yo, you can't beat a Juan Torres. Like, what the hell? You can't beat that.
Not at all. Man, if you get a DM or two because of this, let us know, Juan.
That will let you know, guys.
I'll let you know. Making moves out here.
All right, Lou. How can we find you?
Don't DM me, but my name is Matt Lou Belgium. I mean, you know what?
Nah. No, we gotta think about it.
My DMs are closed at the moment, but my name is @Lou Belgium. You can find me on them Instagrams. Thanks, guys. Yo. Happy Black History Month, everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Happy Black History Month, guys.
My DM's
thank you,
closed.
Juan. Appreciate you.
Yeah, my DM's closed too. So, but you can find me on IG at IM302YODA and on Instagram at IM302YODA.
But your DMs could be open for business collaborations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not the reason why.
Go to Brews and Banter.
We were talking about why Juan's DMs is open. Like that's how he was speaking. And for the record, my DMs is closed like today. Like they may be open like by the time the podcast comes out. So just try. You never know.
He just said Juan's DMs is wide.
They open Monday through Monday.
I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I was talking about beer inquiries, man.
Absolutely.
Totally.
I didn't know the beer inquiries required a wingman.
If you want to know those, if you want to check out the recipes, go to slide it. I got it.
I understand what happened there. But he just said just ladies, though. He didn't ask any men to do that.
Exactly.
Right.
Because it's also women's day coming soon. That's why. Encourage.
That was why.
He gets quick on his feet.
Right.
I'm the sales guy.
Totally.
I said that because we're trying to encourage more women to get into the craft.
Right.
Sure.
And if you want to follow Brews and Banter Podcast, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Bruising Banter Podcast. You can even go to www.bruisingbanterpodcast. You can find out where we at. What? BruisingBanterPodcast.com. You can check us out. Huh?
You cut off.
I said www.
No, you just cut out a little bit.
Bruising Banter Podcast.
No, you're fine. You're good, man.
I got you. You can go there. You can check out the merch. Get the merch like this right here. Bang, bang. Oh, and there you go. You can go there and get the merch. You can find out where all the platforms are because we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can even go to Facebook and Twitter. Smash that like button. iHeartRadio, Pandora, all that good stuff. If you want to follow me, Rob G, Master of Podcast, there it is. Rob Stay Bruising. Bing, 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 bing.
That's the podcast shit. Is just...
I love it. I literally like that's genius. Like I
don't know if I'm hating or if it's
it's a little bit. It's a little bit of hate in there. Because next week I'm coming through. It's not going to just say Bruising Banter Productions. It's definitely going to say something. I don't fucking know, but I like that Master trademark Master Podcast now.
Lucian will say God at the.
Once again, we want to thank
Master of Podcasts.
We want to thank Iker and Juan of Tripping Animals for coming through.
Thank you so much, man.
No, guys. Thank you guys for having us. It's a pleasure.
Until next time, this has been episode 195 of Bruising Banter Podcast. 5 more to go, guys. Until 200. Until next time.
We will have a 201, though. They don't end that 200,
right,
just so y'all know.
Right.
Yeah. Have a good week, everyone.
Cheers, brothers.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for everything.
On gun.
On the gang.
On gun.
That's a long intro, right?
You can be who you want to be. Live how you want to live. Stunt how you want to stunt. Give what you supposed to give. Say what you